Like I was lost. Like I would sit in my car and be like, man, what am I doing? Like, am I influencing anybody? Am I helping anybody? Like, why am I here? It's just all these questions start rolling around in your head. And, you know, you ask other people, certain people that aren't on that second mountain, they're never going to know what to tell you. I'll just keep doing what you're doing, keep doing well, maybe start another business. It's not about that. It's about how much you're able to give back to people, not just money, time, also helping them improve themselves. That's where I get joy.
So Brad, thanks for coming in, bro.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Shit.
I wanted to get that out of the way. I always wanted to swear on a podcast. And since you've listened to my videos and stuff and didn't hear me swear, I wanted to make sure I got that out of the way.
Yeah, dude. Is that one of your 50 goals by 50?
The triangles. The triangles.
That was hilarious.
Oh, gosh. And that was like Hugo came into my office, was filming me, and just said, let it rip. And I truly said the triangles. That was not set up. Yeah. So swearing on a podcast. Now I have 49 things I need to do before I'm 50.
There it is.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that? What was the motivation for the list?
Jim Rohn. So he's from the 80s, way before you were born. You're at least, 28, 30 years old?
No, more like 44.
Yeah.
I guess the beard doesn't give it away.
Well, I was trying to keep up with you, but my beard isn't the same as yours. No, Jim Rohn, I listen to him a lot. He's not alive, but he has some good stuff, some good material. And, he had a goal setting podcast basically, but it was a video back in the day that I listened to. And it was basically, really pump up the goals, get 50 goals. He didn't say by 50. I chose that. I'm 48, so it's a lot of stuff to do in 2 years.
Yeah, dude.
But some of the goals, they can be small. They don't have to be big. The triangles or the pyramids. That's a big one.
Yeah, dude.
But it could be as simple as getting an in-ground pool. I have a pool, which I just bought a new house a year ago, and
nice.
We had a wonderful summer. But it's just little stuff. But it gives you that focus to hit stuff. And my dad always told me when I was younger, you have to have goals, and even if you don't hit them, it's that path to the goal. And you might go sideways, you might go one way or another, but at least you're pushing yourself and improving yourself. And that's what I'm always trying to do.
What's some of the highlights on that list, man?
Most of it is travel. I can tell you I want to go to Hawaii too. I've never been to Hawaii.
Beautiful.
Yeah. My wife that's going to have to happen pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, I thank my children for that one because they turned 16. And we asked them, do you want to do a party? Or do you want to go on a crazy trip? And they were like, trip, 2 seconds. Didn't even think twice about it. And because they said, yeah, my wife and I saved for about 2 years, and we got to go to Oahu.
That's awesome.
For like 14 days or 10 days.
Yeah.
I would do it sooner than later, Brad.
Yeah. No, I need to do some more of that stuff. I think, what I'm thinking about right now and in my stage of life, it's another book, The Second Mountain, but I'm on this second mountain journey. Like the first mountain was building up my ego, building up who I am, making sure I was solid there. But now I'm looking into the more of the giving back, living life for what it's worth. And that's where I'm at right now. And I think that's how I run my company. That's how everywhere I'm at, I'm always looking to give back wherever I can. And that could be as simple as just opening up a door for somebody. So I think I'm very in tune with who I am and where I am and why I am where I am. And, the goal thing just came back from Jim Rohn. I was just listening to a bunch of stuff, and I'm always listening. I've never read a full book the cover to cover, never. Harry Potter. I tried reading. My wife's like, Brad, you got to read. I'm like, damn it. All right. She got me a Harry Potter book because she thought, well, that's at your reading level, which is like 4th grade, I believe. So I started reading it. I read it to like 7 pages till I was done, and I stopped. I was just like, you know what? I'm done with it. Like I don't like reading. I don't even know what it was, but I don't even know what the name of it. I just know it was a Harry Potter book. And my wife's, she's so smart. She took 6 years of college. I barely got through high school. I failed 7th grade. No college. Like I didn't like being told what to do. So if somebody told me to read a book in school, I'm like, no, I'm not going to read that book. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go run the streets or something, and run the streets with my plaid shirt and my vest. But
Such a rebel.
but as far as reading a book, I listen to Audible all the time. And I am constantly listening to books, and my mentor, one of my mentors, Dennis, and Joni is my newest mentor. They've always kind of given me books and given me things to improve myself. I found Jim Rohn on my own by listening to a podcast, and the guy let out, hey, this is all from Jim Rohn, and this is what you should listen to. So I just started listening to it, and that was the 50 goals. But, book-wise, I'm always listening, always learning. Always trying to improve myself. Yeah.
So you would talk about the first mountain is helping out your ego, get yourself to a certain point, and now you think you're on the second mountain. Are these books, or is this something?
Yeah. So one of my friends gave me the book. I told him, I said, listen, the last 5 years, I've been in a search for purpose. I'm like, why am I here? Like, I'm just like, I'm just kind of floating around. Yeah. We have a successful business, and, I feel like I'm moving up, but just don't feel fulfilled. He just laughed at me. He's like, you need to read the book, The Second Mountain. I started reading it, no lie. On the way home, I was at an Ethosource, like a GRCA event. And I was talking to the owner at that time, and he gave me the book, and I listened to it on the way home. So I bought it on Audible.
Right on.
And I texted him right away. I said, I listened to about 20 minutes. I started crying. I'm like, this is awful. I said, but it's good, but it's awful because it gave me, like, I was feeling all these things. Nobody could connect with me. Nobody could tell me the why behind it. And then just listening to that book, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm normal. Like, this is like, I have to start like really reaching into this area of my life to get that fulfillment that I'm looking for. And ever since then, man, I love my life, and it's been important to me. And it's not for everybody. Like, the book is a little complicated to follow. Again, I'm 7th grade failure and hardly got through high school. So some of the things are a little complicated, but I was able to really, listen and hear what they're saying. And it really just gave me an idea of like, okay, what I am doing right now, where I'm going, this is the why. And I'm going to continue to push this way because this is what gives me, the feeling of being a whole person.
That's interesting, man, because I feel like that's where I'm at right now, where, I used to base my life on being a successful businessman.
Yeah.
And I've reached a point now where I'm like, great.
Yeah. What else is there?
I'm like, I love my clients. I love everybody. I do. That's definitely pure Fred, but yeah, you're right. I mean, do I feel fulfilled? Not at all.
Yeah.
I can definitely say that, be totally transparent. So I'm very eager to check out the Second Mountain book because it sounds like it's done something for you, man.
Yeah.
I can just see it in your eyes. I'm like, whoa, I'm like, I need to read this book. But was there a first mountain book, or it just tells you what that was?
It goes over like what the first mountain is.
Okay.
And then the second, it goes through like the second mountain. And, it goes back to all history. It's a bunch of authors, a bunch of articles that are all compiled into one book. So it's very exciting. It goes in many different directions, but man, and John Gowan, I can say he's the one that gave me the book. And it just out of the blue, I was just talking to him about, purpose. And it's just funny that he gave me that book or told me about it. I bought it. But then just listening to him, like, man, this gave me some freedom. So yeah, if you feel like you're stuck, feel like what's next, I would suggest that book 100%.
How long ago did you listen to that book?
It was about a year ago. And it's 5 years I was lost. Like, I was lost. Like, I would sit in my car and be like, man, what am I doing? Like, am I influencing anybody? Am I helping anybody? Like, why am I here? It's just all these questions start rolling around in your head. And, you ask other people, certain people that aren't on that second mountain, they're never going to know what to tell you. I'll just keep doing what you're doing, keep doing well, maybe start another business. It's not about that. It's about how much you're able to give back to people, not just money, time, also helping them improve themselves. That's where I get joy. I always loved coaching kids in soccer. I was a horrible coach. My record's like 0. I don't think I won a game. And all the parents out there that are watching that I've coached your kids, sorry. But I always instilled in the kids, like, listen, there's more to life than soccer. there's more to life than what you're going through right now, and let's have some fun, and I'm not the one that wants to give trophies to everybody either. I want people to experience some stuff, but the kids, it was awesome. It was a great learning opportunity for me to learn how to manage people by doing it through kids and just like trying things. And it was awful because I didn't win, but I was never really focused on that. So that gave me great fulfillment. But once my son got to 14 years old, he's 20 now, the kids started knowing more than me. So I had to back out on the baseball side too. It was a mess. Everybody was starting to figure me out. That whole imposter syndrome, it wasn't imposter syndrome. I actually didn't know what I was doing. The whole feel good and not winning anymore, that wasn't working.
Yeah.
We were getting hammered. Parents were really pissed off at me. I'm like, all right, it's time to hang up the cleats. So I did. But I have a 10-year-old now too that I coached him in a couple years, and he wasn't a soccer player. I had to drag him off the field a couple times by his legs because he just laid out in the middle of the field, wouldn't let all the kids play. And all the moms and parents would come up to me, oh, I'm so sorry. But it's just another story I can tell that it's just part of life. And Phoenix loves what he's doing. He loves instruments and that sort of thing. Just didn't like sports. It's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like me. I never really played sports, played instruments.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
What'd you play?
Played guitar in high school.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always wanted to learn guitar.
It's fun. 15 years, man.
Yeah.
15, that's why I'm deaf.
Do you sing?
I wouldn't call it singing.
Did you try?
No, I screamed.
Okay.
I was in a metal band.
Nice.
Metal band, yeah, for a long time.
That's awesome.
It was fun. Yeah, now I play drums. I'm learning how to play drums now.
Okay.
Just, when I get time, I go down in the basement of this beautiful building and ding, 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 mess around.
I'm sure your neighbors love you.
Electronic drums, man.
Yeah.
Can't hear anything.
Yeah, it's awesome. My son, that's what he plays is drum.
I love his name, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Phoenix.
That's my wife. She has a huge tattoo on her leg she just got of a phoenix, but I think that was all her. I wanted to call him, his middle name's Gage, and Gage because I love Pet Sematary, and the kid in Pet Sematary, his name is Gage. That's probably not the best reason to call your kid.
Well, it's better than the employment agency, so I figured.
Good point. Yeah. Well, yeah. Good point. Yeah, I'm glad we went with the Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix Gage.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
You guys put some thought into that.
That's all my wife.
How great are the wives, right?
They're awesome.
Strong women, man.
Holy cow! If it weren't for my wife, well, I'd be an alcoholic. I'd probably be in jail, and who knows? When I met my wife, I was this shy, but kind of introverted person. Mm. And it really wasn't who I was. It's just I didn't know how to show myself. Well, my wife helped me kind of break out of my shell. My parents, my family, and my sisters, they're all straight and narrow. I'm the black sheep of the whole family, which I love that.
You're doing terrible for yourself.
Yeah. My path is the right path, Shalice and Kim. But no, my wife. I met her at a party. You don't meet your spouse at a party. That's not the right place to meet them. But I met her at a party. It was an all dudes party too, all guys. She just happened to show up, and we started hitting it off. We were sitting at a table. And there was a fireman at a table. Nothing against firemen, but he was sitting at the table too with me, and he was mocking me the whole time and trying to undermine me in front of my future wife so that she would go with him. Well, that didn't work. So the end of the night we kissed. I blew a snot rocket on her by accident because I laughed and snot came out. So her friend called me and said, hey Brad, do you remember me? I'm like, yeah. Okay, hold on, let me call you back. So then Tanya actually called me back, and I was 19 at that point.
19?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're still married. We were engaged for 5 years because I promised her dad I wouldn't marry her before she graduated college. So, yeah, it was a 5-year plan.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
How do you forget the woman you snot rocketed on?
That's a story I tell everybody because, the fact that she stayed with me, that means that she can put up with my shit, which is awesome.
Dude. Oh, she probably liked your pureness back then. The guy got ridiculed by some other jockey. Women really don't like that at all, man. No. That's the worst way to go about it. And then you snot rocketed on her. And then you still went in for the kill. Went in for the kill. That takes balls.
I don't know if I was going. I didn't know. I don't know if I knew I was going in for the kill. It just happened.
That's awesome, dude. So, that takes a lot of cojones. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
19. So you've been together a long time?
Long time. I'm 48, so do the math. I'm not good at math.
I don't know,
Long.
20-something years, 30-something years?
20, yeah, more than, yeah, almost 30.
Wow, that's awesome, dude. What does your wife do, if I may ask?
She's physical therapy.
Right
She
on.
does physical therapy in the school districts for autistic kids. That's why autism is
right on.
very, like, it's something that is very near and dear to both of our hearts because, you know, with autism, and I don't want, with ADHD, I'm going to go all over the place if I need to, like.
You're good,
Okay.
brother. You're good, brother.
With kids with autism, you know, once they hit 21, they're kind of forgotten about. You know, they're paid up to 21 by the state, and there's a lot of, you know, help. But once 21 hits, they're cut off. And it's something that I'm trying to work on with my wife, along with my company as well. It's like, how can we get gainful employment for kids with autism that become adults with autism? And that's one of our missions. Like, how do we work that out? And it's just something. It's a shame because it's not many people know it. It's everywhere. Autism is like something that, even ADHD, it's a form of autism. So I just see, you know, we have a kid, Corey, that interns with us right now, and I tell you, that kid's like the best kid ever. Super smart. Man, every time he goes out and helps the guys, like, he is the best worker out there. Smile on his face, and he just wants to help. And it's pretty cool to see that you can, I mean, talking about like the Second Mountain stuff, like that's all of it. You know, to see that you gave a kid that may not have had a chance, you're giving him a chance to succeed. You can't get any better than that. Now, he's so awesome that he's going to succeed wherever he's at, but there's people that just aren't given a shot. And going back to my youth, I wasn't given a shot either. And that's why I fight for whatever I have to do, and I fight for the people that are looked at it a different way, you know, and the underdogs. I'm a big underdog guy.
Well, Eagles fan.
Yeah, good point. I was an underdog guy before the underdog thing came out. I always stick up for the underdog.
Oh man, so is that something that you and your wife, is it like a foundation you're trying to make or something, or?
Yeah, I mean it's still in the visionary. I'm a visionary. I'm always thinking about stuff. Ideas sometimes are good, sometimes are not. But ultimately, you know, my wife and I, we want to do something together. We know we can't work together because we'll probably kill each other. But we want to have something, again, something bigger than us, something that helps humanity, and, you know, just different things. You know, how it's going to play out, man, I don't even know. But I know you just start the steps, and eventually you'll start figuring it out. And that's what we're doing right now. We're just talking about it. I'm involved with John Paul II. Awesome school. They do a lot of great things for kids, and, you know, I'm on their board, and, you know, I'm on their board not for business purposes. It's strictly to how can I learn more about the kids? How can I help the kids? What can we do as a company to merge everything? And, you know, we're starting there, and my wife's continuing to see kids, you know, in the school district, and we're just kind of throwing out ideas. Ultimately, I think we want to have a farm, you know, have some land, you know, have an area where kids can come out, pet the animals. And I know there's other places like that as well. But then for the gainful employment, you know, something at Newcastle, you know, how can we work some of that in? And I don't know how it's going to look yet, but I know it's going to be great.
That's awesome, dude. I love it. You guys ever check out Dream League?
No.
Well, Dream League is actually, I announced there on Mondays during the fall and spring seasons. It's the Savage 61 Dream Field. It's by the Relevant Sports Complex.
Okay.
Special needs kids.
Nice.
They actually built them a specific field that they could play on. You know, the surface is really soft. All the balls are soft. I think that'd be something cool to have Newcastle come out and volunteer for a day.
Oh, absolutely.
They just, you know, they need volunteers with the kids. So, like, you'll stand next to a kid, make sure it doesn't get hit in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Run the bases with them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You should come check it out, man.
Absolutely. I was talking to somebody at the bank one time. It was probably that whole thing. And she was talking to me about it. I'm like, that's great. I gave her my card. She never called me. So I don't know if I freaked her out or spooked her, or maybe she thought I was a creeper. I don't know.
No, they're always looking for volunteers. What I'll do is Steven, the guy that I know at Baseball Town Charities, he's always contacting me. So I'll touch base with him and I'll do one of those good old email intros.
Absolutely.
And I'd love to see you out there, man.
Yeah,
Those
no.
kids are, you want to talk about kids, man? They get me every time, dude.
Oh, well, I mean, they're so innocent, and to have to deal with what they're dealing with and see how they're dealing with it. And then you go back in reality and you see some people bitching and complaining about stupid stuff. It's like, really? Like, come on, guys. Like, really? But
I've seen kids literally with physical impairments. They're special needs. They are so limited physically, compared to societies, whatever. And they're always smiling, man.
Yeah.
Yet we'll be pouting because, for me, the Mets lost and it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
But for him, he's just laughing. He's like, yeah, I got to play baseball today. And I'm like, damn, I wish I was on his level.
You can be. It's a second mountain, man.
Second mountain.
That's where you need to be.
What's your purpose, man? Since we were talking about that, I wanted to ask you that question. What's your purpose now?
I really believe my purpose on earth is to show people and prove to them that they can be more than what they think they can be. And we have this self-limiting belief, and they call me a little bit of a truthinator because
I watched that.
Listen, I hammer people. I am not a coddler. And I think a lot of times, I was just talking to my partner now about that. I'm not a coddler. If I talk to somebody, I'm giving them the honest truth, because that's the best thing you can do for them, is to tell them the truth so they can change. Too many times we blow smoke up people's asses just to make them feel good, and we think we're doing the good thing. All you're doing is delaying that person's growth. So if I can tell them what I see for them and get them to believe it in themselves, and they start a different trajectory of their life, man, to me, that's a win all day long. And I think, inspiring people, I always have to be inspiring or influencing. If I feel like I'm not inspiring or influencing people, I start doing consulting. I'll travel up and down the East Coast. I'll start doing speaking. Like, I need to influence or inspire somebody. It's probably why I'm doing your podcast today.
Thank you.
But look at the connection. Now I'm going to be helping kids with special needs. We're going to be able to, help those kids out. But it's always about, like, how can I make a difference? But it's that self-limiting belief that I'm here to crack the code on that, because I had the same thing with me. Like, I had adults, when I graduated high school, I worked for a local company, and that person told me I wasn't going to be anything. I wasn't smart enough. I was never going to be a foreman. And I believed it because I was a young kid, and I had an adult telling me this. I learned that I could be something, and all it came back to is one person saying that you're going to be something someday, Brad. I'm like, oh, huh. And it's a guy that I worked with in Texas. I don't even know his name. I was making $5.30 an hour. I moved to Texas with my wife. She went to school there. And I was making $5.30 an hour working for the state. And it was probably the worst job I ever had. But there was one guy there. It was right after I quit the job that sucked. I went to the job that people cared about me. I didn't make any money. I went from $16 an hour to $5.30. We were broke. $1 pitchers of beer and noodles and ketchup. I mean, that's all we ate.
Yummy.
But, one person told me that and just spoke to me. And I mean, 3 or 4 words changed my whole life. And if I can do that for other people and speak to them and they catch something that changes them, man, that's all it is. I did thank the guy for being an asshole, by the way. I unfortunately I pulled up in a Newcastle vehicle, but I pulled over and I wanted to thank him, not just for being an asshole. He helped me. He knocked me down, but if I wasn't knocked down, I wouldn't have never built myself back up. So you have to be knocked down. And so I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for everybody in my life, no matter what they've done for me or what they've done to me. It's been, I mean, I remember everything. It's all been helpful. So yeah, that's
awesome.
That's a long purpose.
No, that's a great purpose, man. That makes so much sense to me. And I love helping people too. And I think sometimes I forget that trajectory I need to go on. There's a lot of times where I think about it. And there was a time a couple of years ago where I really considered closing down everything and just going on a path of service to the community.
Yeah.
And then I realized that's probably not the most smartest move for me at the time. But I really wanted to go that route because I just felt like, you know what, I think I was reaching that point where I'm like, the ego's in check, man. You know, like I don't need anything else.
Sure.
I don't need to be some trillionaire doing.
Yeah.
I don't find gratification in that. I really don't. I just love the fact that I can, I tell people order pizza on Friday, not worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm good. But community service is a big thing, and I'm actually trying to like snap myself out of it because I was doing it so much for so long. I think I just got burnt out for a while.
Yeah.
And then the toy drive this last season was like, it got really crazy where I realized, okay, I'm going to need help next year. But the feeling of being able to collect these toys and give them to kids, like I'm a sucker for kids, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'll do anything for kids all day long. That spark was in there a little bit, like that spark of like, yeah, man, you remember what it feels like to give to people, what it feels like to help people. And I love talking to people and getting them motivated too. I totally dig everything you're saying because everything you're saying, I'm totally into. And I love even being just a spark in somebody's own trajectory.
Yeah.
Just to, like you were just saying, 3 words change your life. Wouldn't it be great if I could just be like 1, 2, 3, and that person just goes that way, and that would make me feel stupendous.
Yeah.
Knowing they just totally changed their life, and it was only because I took the time to give them just 3 little taps somewhere.
Yeah.
That's killer.
Yeah, and I think it's important too. And at Newcastle, we build a team where I can come here and do this. I don't have to worry about the company. The company's taking care of itself. I am the spark sometimes, but ultimately we've built this team of great people. It's self-managing. Every once in a while the owners have to step in on some stuff, but ultimately it's about releasing the vine. It's called letting go of the vine, because especially if you're a founder, it's hard to let go of things because it's yours. So nobody's going to take care of it as good as you can. And it's so false. And I believe, the quicker I could get out of that focus of like construction was my thing. When I came to Newcastle, I brought construction and I ran construction, and my mentor at the time's like, listen, you got to let go. If you don't let go, you're going to be the bottleneck, and you're going to be the reason why Newcastle doesn't grow. I'm like, son of a bitch. I started thinking about it. I fought it. Like I fought it for years, probably 2 years. And finally it just clicked. I'm like, man, what am I doing? Like Dan at that point, he was up and coming. I was holding his future back, and now he's one of our owners. But I was holding his future back because I was holding something so closely to me because it was mine. It was mine. Nobody can take care of it as good as I can. The more I'm away from it, and it's been years since I let go. I mean, we grew so much since then, but we wouldn't have grown if I wouldn't have let go. And I wouldn't be able to do the stuff I'm doing today with helping people. I mean, I'm constantly going out to help different things and doing different charity things, thinking at a global level. When you're working in the business, they always say, don't work in the business, work on the business. That is so true too. Like it's not just a saying, it's true, because when you're working in the business, you have the blinders on. You don't see the opportunities that are out there. Plus you're stuck in the day-to-day. You get so drained on the day-to-day, you can't do the things that really give you fulfillment. And thank God my mentor at the time kind of kicked me in the ass and said, you got to get out of the way. Because now I'm constantly, sometimes I get out of the way too much, and everybody's like, well, why don't you come in for a little bit and help us out here? And I am in, but I'm more of a leadership coach. I'm doing one-to-ones. I do the DISC analysis too. I'm a certified behavioral analysis, so I'm able to talk through people's emotions and help them understand why they are who they are. Because everybody's special. Everybody has a special nugget in them. It's just a matter of who's going to figure out how to get that nugget out of them. But if I wouldn't have let go, I would have been stuck, and I wouldn't have been able to fulfill my dreams. And it's important. And I know, just listen to some of your stuff. I know you might feel like you're this is your thing, and it's mine. Stay away. But if you're able to inspire somebody to you can train them, and you see them grow, and now they start doing things better than you, man, and you can back away and see them grow. It's awesome.
When did you know it was time to let go? Was there like a certain event, or did something happen? Or
it's when Dennis, my mentor at the time, pretty much kicked me in the ass and just said, listen. And he was straight up forward with it. He's like, you got to move. You got to. If you don't, you're holding everybody else back. So it was him kind of telling me, and then me like really thinking about it, but I didn't see the future. Like, it was hard for me to see the future because I wasn't an owner at that time. I was a operations manager at that time. So I didn't see where I am today. Like, did I want to own the company? Absolutely. But I didn't see the steps. So it was tough for me to let go. But once I was able to really visualize what the steps looked like and believe it, that's all I needed to do. But I needed somebody to kick me in the ass and say, listen, you got to get your head out of your ass. And that's exactly what I did.
Oh man, Brad, I feel like I brought you in today to talk to me.
I'm here for a reason.
It wasn't like I bring people in to talk to everyone, obviously, but I'm just like, man, I feel like what happened with the last podcast and you messaging me and it's just like boop, 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 boop. It's all coming together, and it's like, oh, that's why we got together, and this is why we're talking. Those are some real words, man. Those are some words that are hitting me hard, dude. Because I'm in a point where I'm like, the second we're done with this podcast, I'm getting the second mountain. I'm gonna get my head out of my ass. I'm gonna look for more employees so I can work on the business, not in the business. It's hard to let go, man. It is so hard to let go of something you literally put everything into.
It's your baby.
You know, yeah, which is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
You know, it's so hard to just be like, here you go, whatever your name is, take care of this and don't fuck it up.
Yeah. And I hear you. But finding the right person.
Yeah.
Finding that bright person, that man, that's you're inspiring them to live a better life and to take on some responsibilities. Everybody wants to be a part of something. So if you're a part of a company, you want to be a part of the company. You don't want to just be a pawn. You want to have a reason why you're there. And I know the more responsibilities we give to our people that are higher level responsibilities, the more they feel part of the company, and they hold that close to them. So when you say nobody can take care of the company like the owner, that's why I don't think it's true, because their livelihoods are on the hook too. It's not, listen, the job market's open, but I can tell you at Newcastle, working at Newcastle and then switching to another landscape company, it's going to be culture shock, especially if you haven't experienced, and not all landscape companies, but some, they're not run the best. We care about our people. And if you give them responsibilities, something that they can take control of and they can handle and they can own themselves, you create all these owners in your company that they'll run through a brick wall to make sure that company and everybody in the company is safe. And I think that's what we've done. Are we perfect? No. But man, as soon as you can find that next person, I always tell everybody, all of our supervisors, who you training to take your spot. Because ultimately, you need to train somebody up to take your position. It doesn't mean you're losing your job, but everybody wants to move up. In order to move up, you've got to train and own your own business. You have to. Who are you training to take over your spot? You know, what happens if you get sick? What happens, if everything just has to go through you? You are the bottleneck. It's unfortunate, but that is. There's one book, Leadership and Self-Deception is another one. That's another one to kind of get your head out of your ass. That's a good head out of your ass book. It kind of tells you that you're the problem. If there's problems, you're the problem. No matter what it is, because there's always something you can do about that problem. When everybody says, oh, it's not my fault. Well, when anybody says that, I'm like, come on. What can you do about that problem? Because we all have that control.
Right.
So Leadership and Self-Deception, I try to get everybody to read that. Some people don't. It's more of a parable, more of story form, but those are the type of books I like. But it gives you a kind of a scenario about an owner, a boss. That's kind of the bottleneck, and holding things back and blaming. It's this person's fault, that person's fault. And you start understanding that ultimately it comes back to you, and you have to correct yourself before the company can even move in the right direction. So I do a lot of self-reflecting in my car.
I know, man. I do a lot of that in my car too. Sometimes taking those long ways home are so therapeutic.
Yeah.
You need that. I have a question for you, because I feel like I have the man speaking truth here today. How do you hire someone? Like, what is it about them, or what is that one factor that you're like, okay, Like you were saying, you spoke to Trisha Williams for what, a minute. You're like, I like you,
That was it.
right? Like, how do you how do you do that?
So for me and who I am, I feel people's energy. I look at people's body language. I don't listen to words. I'm more of like, how's that person presenting themselves? Not, are they dressed properly? Do they have a boogie hanging out of their nose? Like, none of that stuff. I'm looking at like, do they care? Are they showing that they care? I really could give two shits of what somebody knows. I shouldn't say that necessarily.
But I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
It's really like, if they have a bad attitude, I don't care. I don't want to be around somebody with a bad attitude. So good attitudes, 100%. It's one of our core values. It's super simple. Good attitude. So if somebody comes in and they're miserable or they have the resting bitch face, like I might not hire them. But if I get the feel and the vibe, and I don't even know how to like explain what it is, but I just feel it. And it's strange, and I'm an odd bird, but I hire people off of feel like all day long. And it usually works out. I can't remember one that didn't work out. I used to suck at hiring people back in the day. Man, if somebody had a nicely trimmed beard and came in like all, tight with all their clothes, I'm like, yeah, this has got to be a good one. They have a firm handshake. That's got to be a good person. No. Now I just interview people. First of all, I don't have job descriptions, which sometimes I get burned on that because they don't know what they're doing. Stacy, so my office or my sales manager, I worked with her at another company. I had to Facebook stalk her because when I left the other company, it was like 5 years in between talking to her. So I had to Facebook stalk her, try to find where she was. I couldn't even remember her last name. Finally found her. I called her. I said, Stacy, I said, I don't know what you're going to do, but I want to hire you. We'll figure it out. She was hired. She wanted to work part-time, 12 hours, because she wanted to continue to substitute teacher. She was a substitute teacher. I just wanted, just nice, easy job. Well, 8 years later, she's now, she pretty much tells me what to do now. And she's running all the salespeople. She's doing an awesome job. Her sister, I found her too. She was my laborer on some of my landscape crews at the other company I worked for. I found her as well. We needed a designer. She's been with us for 8 years. But I just know good people. I surround myself with good people. And when you're a good person, you surround yourself with good people, you know when good people are in your presence. And that's all I guess is why I'm able to do what I can do as far as hiring people. Now, we do have a lot of our employees are recommended by other people. So a lot of that pre-qualifying, like Trisha Williams, she was recommended by Trisha Voss, the sister that I just talked about, not Stacy, Trisha. So I already knew, okay, I'm past the bad person thing. Mm-hmm. Now I just got to get a feel for her. And, Trisha came in, and I remember, clear as day, her coming in and just sat there, and it was probably creepy. I'm surprised she worked with us, because I'm like, yeah, I like you. I'm like, who says that? That's an HR issue right there. But no, I just said, I like you. You don't have to tell me anymore. You don't have to sell yourself. Trisha already sold you. I just want to make sure I liked you. And I did, and we hired her on the spot. Now she's subcontractor for us. But man, she's done awesome. Yeah, like I'm interviewing somebody today at 5. The person contacted our company and said, I just want to work with Brad. I don't even know this person. And the only reason she wants to work with me is because she saw my video on Facebook where I'm talking about the triangles and doing forward rolls. She just wants to work with somebody like that. So
that makes total sense to me, man.
Forward rolls and triangles?
No, why she would want to work with you.
Okay.
Like straight up. I'm just like, yeah, dude. When you feel the vibe with people, like there's not many people out there that I've met where I feel something.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, this is a cool cat. Like I can say honestly, I'd be like, all right, I can hang out with Brad. Whatever. It's totally cool. And I dig your vibe, man. I dig your good vibe, your good energy, your good presence. Thank you for coming on today, man.
I appreciate it.
This was a good time, and I can't wait to do it again.
I can't believe it's
soon.
Over already.
Yeah,
like 10 minutes ago we started.
It was 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago we started. Yeah, no, it's time, bro. But we can do it again, man. Yeah, for sure. We'll do it again real soon, and we'll see where we're at, and we'll talk about more positive stuff, because I love that we spoke about this type of subject matter. I'm trying to trying to switch it up a little bit. Not so much business as much as just people.
Well, people, I mean, that is business. If you don't know how to deal with people, you don't know how to run a business.
Absolutely, brother, man. I'll talk to you real soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode of Fred Talk. If you totally got into what you just saw, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss another episode. Check out the playlist because there's other cool people too. And if you can't watch all the time, check it out on any podcast outlet. Don't forget, your Uncle Freddy loves you. Peace.